This conversation is all about giving pilots the tools to fly, see and respond when it matters most. And I'm joined by Dave Drewitt, the Business Development Director of Thales Group. Hello, lovely
Hi.
to see you.
Nice to see you.
So Dave, can you give us a little overview of Thales's role in the emergency services and the defence aviation space?
Yeah, so Thales is a French multinational company. We design and manufacture advanced technologies into pretty much all of the sectors. So aerospace, defence, space, land, and digital, particularly around the governments and services. So it's a large company. For the emergency services, one of the things that we're proud of is we provide all of the communications, so the radios, the networks, and we provide advanced avionics to some of the platforms, unmanned solutions, and digital services, particularly into the security and police networks.
And one of your focus areas is on helmet-mounted displays. So how do these improve a crew's situational awareness on critical missions?
So our helmet-mounted display is named Scorpion, and its main focus is to enhance situational awareness, reduce pilot workload, and then increase the safety and survivability of platforms, which is really important in today's environment. So our helmet is a monocular helmet. It has a color display, and what it allows you to do is to give a pilot a heads out capability whilst focusing on the operational mission. So you improve safety by giving them that heads out position.
And your technologies are focusing on really helping crews in poor visibility.
Yes.
Can you talk us through what that involves?
Yes, so because we're giving them a heads-out capability, what we also have is our degraded visual environment software. So it's synthetic software that is put into the helmet, and what it does is it allows you to see synthetically the ground and the terrain, and it allows you to move through that without even looking at any sensors. Now, what we also do is fuse the sensors into the picture, so you get a real-time view plus a synthetic view. So effectively, you can fly in any types of weather, and with the combination of sensors and synthetics, you've got a complete heads-out view. So it's quite special.
That really is, wow. So the concept of crewed and uncrewed teaming, it's getting more attention, isn't it?
Yeah.
But what does that look like in practice, and how does it change the way that missions are flown?
So the concept is very new. And so what we've seen, certainly over the last couple of years, is a lot of unmanned platforms coming into the market and into the operational space. We've seen recently NPAS with the Sheeble platform. We've seen the Maritime Coast Guard. So the crewed uncrewed is about providing that link to an uncrewed platform. So the way that we do that is we transmit data, sensor data from the uncrewed platform back to the manned platform. So if you remember, I talked about the helmet. So in the helmet, we can now see the video that the uncrewed platform is seeing in real time. So it helps you to make decisions very, very quickly, instead of having to wait until the information's been back to the ground. It will help you in those situations. So it's really good at kind of providing you that extra reach, particularly, and that's kind of where we think it's a good place to be.
And can you give us an example of a real or a simulator mission where these technologies have really made a critical difference to the crew safety or the success of the mission?
Yeah, so if I look at a disaster relief as an example, where I've got a large scale disaster and I need to cover a lot of ground, but I also need to pinpoint where casualties might be, or where there's potential for we see fires, and so with an unmanned platform, we can put that out there further out in the disaster area than a manned platform could potentially go. So we're beaming the information back. The manned platform can then make some quick decisions and send in the ground people to kind of do casualty relief. So you're extending the range of your existing capability, and that's kind of what it's all about. It's cool.
You've been involved in a UK Wildcat versus unmanned platform demo, and it's due at the end of the year. But without giving away too many spoilers, what's the significance of that trial? You're like, no spoilers.
No spoilers. So yes. So one of the key enablers for the Royal Navy is to have crewed uncrewed teaming. And again, it's about extending the reach to allow them to do more, quicker, faster, and to be able to make decisions. So the trial that we're going to do, and I can't talk about it in detail, but the trial that we're going to do is with a Wildcat platform, a manned platform, and we're going to beam the sensor information, it's EOIR sensor information from a Peregrine unmanned platform, which is the Sheeble platform. We're going to send that back to the crewed platform, and then they can make decisions. They can see where the cameras are pointing. We can also cue. So basically, if the camera's pointing in a position, we can cue it, and then everybody else in the cockpit can see the same image. So that's the real importance of doing that trial. Now, of course, then it has read across to the police service for the unmanned, putting an unmanned platform overhead. You don't have to have a manned helicopter in the vicinity. So it gives many advantages for that crewed uncrewed teaming.
And you're exploring how crewed and uncrewed aircraft can work together on missions. What could that look like in an emergency services setting? Like, what benefits could that bring?
So the benefits are really being able to make operational decisions quickly, and for us, it's about the safety of the crews going in on the ground. So you can, if there's a fire and there's a flare point, you can pinpoint that straight away, and you can provide that information very quickly back to the ground. So it's all about enhancing the situational awareness, enhancing the safety of both the airborne and the crews on the ground.
And what's some of the feedback that you've had from users?
So every time somebody puts the helmet on, the first word they say is "wow," and it's interesting because you don't think that it would make that much difference, but if you think you're in an environment in the cockpit where it's data rich, you've got a lot of information coming in, you've got to make some decisions very quickly, but you're in an environment like degraded visual environment where your surroundings are pretty much unknown because you're in fog or you're in smoke or you're in adverse weather. With a heads out capability, you can do that, and that's where it really makes a difference.
And looking ahead, where do you see the biggest opportunities for technology like this when it comes to enhancing safety and operational effectiveness for both helicopter and emergency services crews?
So I think it can make many advantages. So one, the helmet can be used in the air. The helmet can actually be used on the ground with the ground crews as well. So they can see sensor information that's coming from unmanned platforms. It can go into vehicles. But I think the real benefit that it gives us today is it allows decisions to be made. And today you need to be able to do those in a safe environment. And with a head out, eyes out information, the information is coming in real time. And that's really important to the operator.
And finally, Dave, so if somebody wants to explore Thales' solutions further, what's the best first step?
So they can come and see us. We've got the helmet on our stand, DE242. We can show them what it's like. or they can look me up on LinkedIn and find me. I'm always there.
Dave Drewitt.
And somebody, you know, that's what it's all about. We're about information sharing and providing safety and situational awareness to the aircrew and the ground.
Dave, thank you for your time.
Thank you very
Pleasure.
much. Thank you.